Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's all fantastic. Last week, Jim from Great Big Table asked if I like stand-up comedy, and if I do, who are my favorite stand-up comedians? And oh boy, we could talk about stand-up comedy for hours. I love stand-up comedy. Absolutely love it. I watch a lot of it. Well, I used to watch a lot of it. I don't have any of the streaming services anymore, like specifically Netflix, which seems to have most of the stand-up comedy on it. But I absolutely love it. If I had to name my absolute favorite right now, I think it would be Nate Baragatsi. He's a clean comedian, but not not because he's trying to be a clean comedian. He just comes across as like a genuinely good dude, and he also he does a lot of self-deprecation, like Southern guy kind of kind of numbskull type comedy, and I really enjoy that angle. I've always really I find in any kind of show or whatever, I always like the kind of goofball characters. And I would say that Nate is not a goofball character. He just has this really deadpan delivery of that guy that just doesn't have a lot of common sense, right? And I would say I could watch his specials just on endless repeat and laugh my ass off constantly. Also, very high on my list is Tom Segura. And Bert Kreischer. I've actually seen Bert live. They do a podcast called Two Bears One Cave, which is ridiculous and hilarious. They're also two of the most popular comics right now. But I've loved comedy for so long that my list is just gigantic. It's pretty much everybody. Like I like all of the people, right? And in the past, Jim Gaffigan has been somebody that's made me just die laughing. Ari Shafir says a lot of really ridiculous things, and I absolutely love him. Mark Maron, I've always kind of semi-connected with Mark Maron on some sort of weird, even though he's probably 15 to 20 years older than me, he has this kind of just dude on a stool kind of approach like he's just coming out and telling you stuff that's on the top of his mind. He doesn't seem like he's doing a whole routine, and I've always appreciated that about him. Who else? Off the top of my head, those are the ones that I say I would absolutely watch anything that they put out. There are others, and I'm sure that if I had taken the time to sit down and curate a list, I would have come up with a whole bunch of kind of obscure comics, because I really like obscurity. I really like people that are not necessarily doing material that is widely accepted. I enjoy seeing what people are doing on the sides. It's really interesting. Like I think that the common view of stand-up comedy is that it's all kind of the same thing, and it's really not. There are a whole lot of avenues and a whole lot of approaches to style, to delivery, and to material, and I think that makes it super 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 special. It's just like music. There are genres of comedy, and I don't think most people really think of it that way. Unless you've really watched a lot of it, you just don't get to see it. Uh, you know, if you take here we go. I can give you an example. If you take the Regan brothers, there's Brian Regan and his brother Jeff. They have very similar delivery. They look very similar. I think his name is Jeff. I might have screwed that up. They have very similar content, right? They both grew up in the South, kind of but their deliveries are so distinct and unique. They do the same sort of stuff but in a very different way, and it's super awesome to watch. You can watch them back to back and be like, man, those stories sound very familiar and very similar, but the delivery is completely different, and it really changes the whole attitude. Let me know if I screwed up Brian's brother's name. I've seen one special of his that he did on, I think it was on Dry Bar, and it was phenomenal. Just absolutely, I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times. But there are, I think I could name names for a very long time, or I could at least go, the guy that's doing this, and you would know who I'm talking about, because I'm also really terrible at names. I'm really bad at remembering people. And the interesting thing is, I'll give you a little, like, when I thought about this topic for the 5 seconds that I pre-think this show, I realized that my list is entirely just white dudes. But there are a whole lot of black comics that have influenced me. From, the obvious is like Chappelle and Cedric and, his name just skipped my brain. Wow. I just completely forgot. Sadly, I'm bad with names. And so when I think of the top people, it's the people that are on Netflix. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of diverse representation in comedy on Netflix. It sucks, But there's this young guy. I really wish I knew his name, and I hope somebody in the comments will tell you who it is, because he's absolutely hilarious. He's this super, super skinny black guy, and he usually wears his hair in an afro, and he has this really deadpan delivery and a little bit self-deprecating, maybe slightly, like kind of not effeminate, but like gayish content. Absolutely hilarious. I mean, just when I see his face on like, I subscribe to some YouTube like Dry Bar and Comedy Central. He's been on the Comedy Central quite a few times, and he usually does like little 10 and 15-minute sets because he's a very young, fresh out of the gates comedian. Absolutely hilarious. But again, I'm terrible with names, and it's like if I see him, that guy. I absolutely love that guy. And unfortunately for me, for some reason, these just white dude names stuck in my head. I don't know if it's because I'm familiar with white dude names or what it is. But yeah, anyway, that's a whole tangent story that doesn't need to be part of this episode, but that's where I head. And I really could talk about comedy forever. So if you like comedy, please tell me who's your favorites in the comments below, and maybe we can have a little conversation about it, because it's... I love to laugh. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is fillip. It is a noun meaning something that revives or arouses excitement. Faithful horoscope watching practice daily provides just the sort of small but warm and infinitely reassuring fillip that gets matters off to a spirited start. Shauna Alexander, an American author. Philip. F-I-L-L-I-P. Never heard Philip. Fill up. Philip. I don't know. That's a weird word.